If you've tried diet after diet and still can't lose weight, the problem isn't your willpower, it's the diet itself. What I'm about to share will completely change how you think about weight loss forever. Hey everyone, welcome back to KB Blue Tree. I'm your host. And today we're diving into something that affects millions of people who are doing everything right but still not seeing results. You've been cycling through different diets, losing some weight only to gain it back, feeling frustrated and defeated. This video is going to be a game changer for you. We're not talking about another fad diet or quick fix, going deep into why the entire diet industry has set you up to fail, and what actually works for sustainable long-term weight loss. This isn't about willpower or motivation, it's about understanding how your body actually works and working with it instead of against it. Here's what's crazy. The global diet industry is worth over $70 billion, yet obesity rates keep climbing. That should tell you everything you need to know about whether traditional dieting actually works. If diets worked, the industry wouldn't exist because everyone would be thin and healthy. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why every diet you've tried has failed. And more importantly, you'll have a clear roadmap for what actually works. This isn't theory, it's based on metabolic science and real-world results that thousands of people have achieved. If you're tired of the diet roller coaster and ready for a different approach, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to KB Blue Tree for more insightful content that cuts through the noise and gives you strategies that actually work. I know some of you are thinking, but my friend lost 30 pounds on keto, or my coworker had success with intermittent fasting. But here's the question nobody asks. Where are they 2 years later? Problem. Let's start with the fundamental flaw in how we think about dieting. The word diet itself implies something temporary. You go on a diet, which means at some point, you go off the diet. Your brain is already planning the exit strategy before you even start, which sets you up for failure from day one. But the real problem runs much deeper than semantics. When you drastically cut calories, your body doesn't think great. Now I'll burn fat. Your body thinks you're in a famine and immediately goes into survival mode. Your metabolic rate slows down to conserve energy, making it harder and harder to lose weight, even while eating less. This is why you can follow a diet perfectly for weeks, lose some initial weight, then hit a plateau where nothing happens, despite eating the same restricted calories. Your body has adapted to the lower calorie intake by burning fewer calories throughout the day. You're not lazy or lacking willpower, you're fighting millions of years of evolution. It's designed to keep you alive during food scarcity. Here's where it gets worse. When you inevitably go back to normal eating, and you will, because nobody can eat 1,200 calories forever, your metabolism is still suppressed. So now you're eating normal amounts of food, but burning calories at a much slower rate. The result? Rapid weight regain, often ending up heavier than when you started. Extreme calorie restriction throws your hunger hormones completely out of whack. Leptin, which signals fullness, decreases dramatically. Ghrelin, which signals hunger, increases significantly. You literally become hungrier and less satisfied by food, making it nearly impossible to maintain the diet long term. Sleep quality suffers tremendously on restrictive diets. When you're undereating, your body produces more cortisol, the stress hormone, which disrupts your sleep patterns. Poor sleep then increases cravings for high-calorie foods and makes it even harder to lose weight. It's a vicious cycle that gets worse over time. The psychological damage is often worse than the physical damage. Every time you fail at a diet, you internalize that failure as a personal character flaw. You think you'd lack discipline or willpower, when in reality, you were set up to fail by an approach that goes against basic human biology and psychology. Social relationships suffer because extreme dieting makes you obsessed with food. You can't enjoy meals with friends or family because you're either restricting heavily or feeling guilty about eating normally. Food becomes the enemy instead of fuel and enjoyment, creating an unhealthy relationship that can last for years. The all-or-nothing mentality that diets promote is particularly destructive. There's no middle ground, no flexibility, no room for real life. One cheat meal turns into a cheat day, which turns into abandoning the diet entirely. Energy levels plummet on restrictive diets, making it harder to exercise and stay active throughout the day. You're told that you need to create a calorie deficit, so you eat less and try to exercise more. But when you're already undereating, adding more exercise just creates a bigger deficit that your body fights even harder against. The diet industry profits from your failure. If diets worked permanently, companies would lose customers. They need you to regain the weight so you'll buy their next program, supplement, or meal plan. The business model depends on repeat customers, not successful long-term weight loss. Here's the most frustrating part. You blame yourself for the failure instead of recognizing that the system is designed to fail. You think you're the problem when you're actually the victim of an industry that sells temporary solutions to permanent problems while ignoring the underlying causes of weight gain. Solutions: the first solution is shifting from a diet mindset to a lifestyle mindset. Instead of asking, what diet should I follow? Ask, what eating pattern can I maintain for the rest of my life? This immediately changes your criteria from what's fastest to what's sustainable, which is the key to long-term success. When you support your metabolism through adequate nutrition, regular eating patterns, and sufficient calories, your body naturally finds its healthy weight. This means eating enough protein, getting sufficient calories to support your activity level, and not yo-yo dieting. The protein prioritization strategy is crucial, and most people get this completely wrong. Instead of cutting calories across the board, maintain or even increase your protein intake while making modest reductions elsewhere. Protein keeps you full, preserves muscle mass during weight loss, and has a higher thermic effect, meaning you burn more calories digesting it. Implement the plate method instead of counting calories obsessively. Fill half your plate with vegetables, 1/4 with protein, and 1/4 with healthy carbohydrates. This automatically creates a calorie deficit while ensuring you get adequate nutrition and don't feel deprived. The timing flexibility approach works better than rigid meal schedules. Some days you might eat 3 meals. Other days you might prefer to larger meals or several smaller ones. Listen to your body's hunger cues instead of forcing yourself into arbitrary eating windows that don't fit your life or preferences. Address the underlying causes of weight gain instead of just treating the symptom. Poor sleep, chronic stress, hormonal imbalances, insulin resistance, food sensitivities. These are often the real culprits behind weight struggles. Fix these issues and weight loss becomes much easier and more sustainable. The habit stacking method creates lasting change without overwhelming willpower. Instead of overhauling your entire diet overnight, add one healthy habit at a time. Maybe it's adding vegetables to 1 meal per day or drinking a glass of water before each meal. Small changes compound over time. Practice food neutrality instead of labeling foods as good or bad. All foods can fit into a healthy diet when consumed in appropriate amounts. This removes the guilt and restriction that leads to binge eating and diet cycles. When you stop demonizing certain foods, you often naturally eat less of them. The satiety signal restoration is critical for long-term success. When you've been dieting for years, you've likely lost touch with your natural hunger and fullness cues. Start eating regularly scheduled meals with adequate calories to help restore these signals, which are your best guide for appropriate portion sizes. Strength training becomes non-negotiable when you understand its role in metabolism. Muscle tissue burns calories even at rest, so maintaining and building muscle helps keep your metabolism elevated. This is why people who include strength training maintain weight loss better than those who only do cardio. The flexible restraint approach beats rigid rules every time. Instead of never eating carbs after 6 p.m., you might choose to usually have lighter dinners, but enjoy pasta when dining out with friends. This flexibility prevents the all-or-nothing thinking that derails most diets. Create environment changes that support your goals without requiring constant willpower. Keep healthy snacks visible and convenient. Prepare meals in advance when possible, and remove obstacles to healthy choices. Your environment should make healthy choices easier, not harder. The gradual deficit method works with your metabolism instead of against it. Instead of slashing calories dramatically, create a modest deficit of 200 to 300 calories through a combination of slightly less food and slightly more movement. This preserves your metabolic rate while still creating weight loss. Sleep optimization becomes a weight loss strategy when you understand the connection. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. Keep your bedroom cool and dark, and avoid screens before bed. Better sleep naturally regulates hunger hormones and reduces cravings for high-calorie foods. Instead of only measuring success by the scale, track energy levels, mood, strength, endurance, measurements, how your clothes fit, and overall quality of life. These metrics often improve before the scale moves and provide motivation during plateaus. Success story. Let me tell you about Ronald, a member of our KB Blue Tree community who completely transformed his relationship with food and lost 65 pounds without following a single traditional diet. When Ronald came to me 18 months ago, he had tried every diet you could imagine, keto. He would lose 20 to 30 pounds on each diet, feel great for a few months, then gradually regain all the weight plus more. By the time we connected, Ronald was heavier than he'd ever been and convinced he was broken somehow. He thought he lacked willpower and was destined to be overweight forever. The first thing we did was throw out the diet mentality completely. Instead of restricting calories, we focused on adding nutrition. Ronald started including protein at every meal, adding vegetables to meals he already enjoyed, and eating regular meals instead of skipping breakfast and overeating at dinner. Within the first month, Ronald's energy levels improved dramatically. He wasn't experiencing the afternoon crashes that had plagued him for years, and he was sleeping better than he had in decades. The scale hadn't moved much yet, but he felt like a different person based on energy and mood alone. By month 3, Ronald had developed a sustainable rhythm. He was strength training twice a week, taking daily walks, and eating meals that satisfied him without feeling restrictive. He had lost 15 pounds, but more importantly, he had gained confidence and felt in control of his eating for the first time in years. The real breakthrough came around month 6, when Ronald realized he had gone weeks without thinking obsessively about food or his weight. He was eating intuitively, enjoying social meals without guilt, and maintaining his weight loss effortlessly. The behaviors had become automatic rather than requiring constant willpower. Here's what's amazing. By month 12, Ronald had lost 50 pounds and gained significant muscle mass. His blood pressure normalized, his energy was consistently high, and he had developed a love for cooking and trying new healthy recipes. But the biggest change was mental. He no longer feared food or felt like he was constantly fighting his body. Fast forward to today, 18 months later, and Ronald has maintained his 65-pound weight loss while living a completely normal life. He built a sustainable lifestyle instead of following a temporary diet. Call to action. Here's your action step for this week. Pick one single habit from today's video and commit to it for the next 30 days. Maybe it's adding protein to every meal, taking a 10-minute walk after dinner, or eating vegetables with lunch every day. Don't try to change everything at once. That's diet thinking. The goal is to prove to yourself that sustainable change is possible and that you don't need extreme restriction to see results. Once that first habit becomes automatic, you can layer on the next one. This is how you build a lifestyle that supports your health goals without feeling like punishment. If you found this helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to KB Blue Tree. For more insightful content that gives you sustainable strategies instead of quick fixes, drop a comment and let me know what's the one habit you're going to focus on first. I read every comment and love celebrating your wins. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. You don't need another diet, you need a better approach. Start with one small change today, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll dive even deeper into building sustainable health habits.